Gombe State, amongst other states, has witnessed different shades of attack, and in all of them, NEMA's presence was felt. Recently, the Director General, in company of his team, visited the people of the state to commiserate with them on the bomb blast that claimed several lives. The Director General and his entourage were received by the Executive Governor of the state. The DG of NEMA, in company of Governor Ibrahim Hassan Dankwambu, visited the scene of the bomb blast. Thereafter, the team went round the hospitals where victims of the blast are being attended to. After the assessment tour, the Director General of NEMA, on behalf of the federal government, donated medical consumables to the Federal Medical Center and the Gombe State Specialist Hospital for the treatment of affected people.
Your Excellency, we are here to present some kind of support from the National Emergency Management Agency to the hospital for the management of the affected persons here in the hospital. So on behalf of the federal government, I would like to present this hospital consumable for the use of the victims.
On behalf of the hospital management and the victims of the blast, we want to sincerely appreciate you for this kind gesture. We can never have enough of consumables because we consume them maybe even faster than they can be supplied. Once again, thank you very much, and we pray that God Almighty will continue to reward your efforts and bring lasting peace to northern Nigeria and Nigeria as a whole. Thank you very much.
We are very grateful, like I have said, that it's a gesture that should be maintained and sustained by the federal government. And that while I was with him, he also assured me that we will be getting more supplies in terms of consumables. Like you have seen the number of patients that were in our hospitals. From what the doctors said, over 100 were brought to them, and inshallah they've been able to treat most of them. None of them is in the emergency, and all of them are in the ward. So at this time they need to maintain, the level of drug, the level of supplies that they have in the hospitals. So we are very grateful to His Excellency, whom on his behalf we are here to donate these supplies to our people.
In line with global best practice, the National Emergency Management Agency has keyed into the disaster risk reduction strategy through preparedness and mitigation aimed at reducing the impact of disaster whenever it occurs as against response. In pursuance of this noble goal, NEMA established a Department for Disaster Risk Reduction, which has helped the agency develop platforms for mitigating disaster by identifying structural and non-structural mitigation strategies so that when disaster comes, it leaves minimal effect. Part of this move is the mainstreaming of disaster risk management content into basic and post-basic school curriculum.
Well, the rationale is to build the resilience of communities, to be able to put disaster risk management at the center stage of disaster management. The Yoga program of action actually push forward for 5 priority areas, which centers on building the resilience of communities and streaming DRR into national development agenda.
The department ensures that the people are made aware of the risk of disasters so as to raise the level of their consciousness to mitigate against its occurrence.
In the area of risk knowledge, there is a sufficient, there is good reservoir of knowledge about the hazard around us and associated risk. NEMA has developed a series of plans to ensure that we are ready to respond adequately and effectively. In terms of early warning system, we have worked so hard. We have gotten a synergy, a very good synergy between the relevant agencies, NIMED, NISA, NEMA, and other stakeholders. To the extent now that we have a tax team that monitors the weather every single day to ensure that the country is prepared against meteorological and hydrological hazards.
The Director of Risk Reduction Department argued that building a peaceful society is the business of everyone, so all hands must be on deck to ensure that peace is instilled in every society. This in itself forms an integral part of disaster risk reduction. Similarly, the present leadership at NEMA facilitated the establishment of postgraduate programs in 6 selected universities across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country towards manpower development as well as empirical studies in the area of disaster management in Nigeria.
The paradigm shift around the world is disaster risk reduction. Rather than just response, you have to prepare, you have to plan, you have to predict events, and then plan for it. Therefore, I must say Nigeria, or NEMA, is one of the very first agency in the African region that have established full-fledged Department of Disaster Risk Reduction in line with Hyogo framework of action. We are doing very well in that regard.
At the Ahmadu Bello University's area in Kaduna State, the National Emergency Management Agency established a center with 3 basic mandates, which include manpower training on disaster management, which will contribute its quota in disaster management in Nigeria, conducting appropriate research in all spectras of disaster management, and helping with public enlightenment on disaster risk reduction.
The primary objective for establishing this center is to produce human capacity that will be engaged in the management of disasters in Nigeria. You will recall that prior to the establishment of this center, the level of trademark power in disaster management in Nigeria was low, and most of the people who had formal training in disaster management had to do this training outside of this country, and that is why, in the wisdom of the Director General of NEMA, to establish this center in the year 2009. So since 2009, we have been doing the training of manpower that we believe should be able to contribute the necessary quota in disaster management in Nigeria.
And in terms of building the capacity of communities and institutions, the country has fared very well. Now there are 6 university centers providing degrees and postgraduate degrees on disaster risk management. The mainstreaming of DRR into basic and post-basic school curricula has been completed. You now have DRM in 5 key subjects at basic and post-basic level. There are quite a number of disaster risk reduction clubs all over the country. So a lot of effort has been done in all the 5 priority areas of Hyogo framework of action.
NEMA established 6 of this kind of centers in 6 universities across the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria. They are the University of Maiduguri in the northeast, the Ahmadu Bello University in the northwest, the Federal University of Technology, Minna, north central, the University of Ibadan, Southwest, the University of Port Harcourt, South-South, and the University of Nigeria in Succour, Southeast. These centers have enjoyed overwhelming support from NEMA.
NEMA has done tremendously well. Over the 3 years that we signed an MOU with them, they have consistently granted us the 15 million naira every academic session. They never failed. These remittances were prompt and they were timely. And they have helped us to build our capacity, the physical capacities, because we started from the scratch. We had to be, for example, here in ABU, we had to establish offices. We have to refurbish lecture rooms and lecture theaters, staff offices, utility vehicles, and a lot of other things we had to do. So that subvention was very timely.
Since the center was put in place, several success stories have been recorded.
Like in NEMA, for example, we have a few top management staff who graduated from this department, and their performance at work since their graduation speaks volumes of the value they have added to their own knowledge about disaster management. And the same thing is true for other people who came from, particularly from the security forces, from the medical field. It's wonderful hearing from them how this knowledge has impacted on them, and they are doing better in their various places of work.
The program needs to be introduced into school curricula in order to enforce and build a disaster risk reduction culture amongst the populace. As a proactive measure, NEMA recently established an emergency response and ambulance bay, strategically positioned to swiftly respond to disasters. The bays have been equipped with state-of-the-art equipment and well-trained search and rescue operators in line with international best practice.
And in line with that, some years back, NEMA had sat down with all the stakeholders and had come up with a disaster response plan and evacuation plan for the whole country that all identified stakeholders, anyone that has anything to do with responding to all forms of emergency in the country, sat together and came up with a response plan. And it is that response plan that has been guiding our activities. NEMA, like you said, continues to act as the agency that facilitates the collaboration of all these agencies. But also because of the peculiarities of, when I mean peculiarities, maybe a bit of shortcomings here and there amongst our stakeholders. In addition to our coordinating activities, we sometimes go the hog by acting as a first responder.
The base has the requisite equipment that will enable it work effectively and efficiently. It is well positioned to respond to all foreseeable emergencies that can arise.
We have tangible equipment. We have substantial equipment. We have equipment. In fact, not too long ago, we even bought, the agency even acquired large equipment like tractors, so that we can use it to clear debris during, because we noticed incessant cases of collapsed building. We have ambulances that we use to evacuate people that are affected by these disasters. We have also specialized equipment that can, if for example in a collapsed building you cannot reach down, we have equipment that can sense if there is still someone in the building, can sense the heartbeat of the person, can use it to locate the person and then bring the person out. Remember also the agency has even aircraft. We have an air ambulance. We have a helicopter that can use for search and rescue.
The Nigerian Mission Control Center is yet another very important center established at the headquarters of NEMA.
The Nigerian Mission Control Center, NIMCC for short, as is referred to, is one of the infrastructures NEMA utilizes in carrying out disaster management. Is a satellite-aided computer-based system that monitors distress signals from aircrafts, ships, and persons. 406 MHz distress signals, to be precise. What happens is that whenever there is an air crash anywhere, or a sunken ship somewhere, or somebody in distress activates what we refer to as a beacon, the signal is transmitted to satellites from those beacons, and the satellite information is relayed to the systems we have here. We have what we call the local user terminal and the mission control center here, which pinpoints the exact location of that distressed aircraft to enable immediate search and rescue to commence.
So much resources have been deployed to this unit to enable it carry out its numerous and very key roles. The equipment and infrastructure put in place has empowered the center to be proactive and right on point through prompt response to distress calls.
Ultimately, the equipment helps to remove the search out of search and rescue, thereby saving lives, because statistics have shown that the earlier you get to the site of a crash, the more the probability of the survival of the victims. So this equipment tries to reduce the time it takes for us to locate the location of a crashed aircraft or a sunken ship in order for the survivors to be rescued. The diagram here succinctly describes the operations of the Nigerian Mission Control Center, which belongs to the COSPASASA organization. You can see the number one there, distress call utilizing emergency beacons from either aircraft, I see a helicopter here, could be an aircraft, ship, or person. You can see a person there. Persons carry what we refer to as personal locator beacons. Aircraft carry what we refer to as emergency locator beacons. All aircraft carry them. And then ships carry what we refer to as emergency position indicating radio beacons, EPEBs. These are positions now that is telling you positions of alert. Yes, these things we're receiving here now are alert position. You can see this one, result 6.427117 degrees north, 3.341877 degrees east. That's the position of an alert. A beacon is activated in this position.
Abdulaziz, I can read you loud and clear from Lagos. Message confirm, over.
For effective feedback from members of the public on emergencies, NEMA also established a state-of-the-art contact center at the headquarters of the agency. This center sends emergency response teams to places of disaster. It is the first point of contact between those in distress and the team from emergency response. It is a 24-hour operating center with well-trained staff who receive calls on behalf of the agency. They clarify the purpose of the distress call, confirm the caller's request, and equally confirm action that ought to be taken, as well as document information from calls received.
Are there any casualties, please? 2 persons are injured. Okay. NEMA will send the response team soon, please. Just stay put.
All station, this is Zero Alpha. Can you read me loud and clear? Oh, Mr. Abdul, I can read you loud and clear from Jos. Oh, Jakarta, I can read you loud and clear from Kaduna.
The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, as a coordinating agency, has continued to demonstrate its preparedness to leverage into an effective collaboration with relevant stakeholders in the discharge of its mandate through partnership, information sharing, capacity building, as well as technical support. Center for geodesy and geodynamics, for instance, recently received equipment support from NEMA to further facilitate the rudiments of sharing information from the satellite system.
It's my honor and privilege to hand over some of this equipment for the use of the assessment center.
We are here actually to take custody of some of these facilities based on equipments procured from NASA, NASDA and NEMA collaboration. We have a collaboration. They promise to assist us in some areas where we are lagging because they deem it fit, that they want to be proactive. Let it be such that whatever problem we will encounter, especially in disaster, deformation monitoring, they want to assist us to know the problem beforehand. And with this kind of facilities now, anywhere that is susceptible to things like earthquake, landslide, volcanic eruptions, with these facilities, we should know beforehand.
The collaboration with NEMA here is very, very wonderful. It's achieving cannot overemphasize. Because we have detected such a problem, we can tell them we have at least a meeting here. Every week we are holding a meeting together with NEMA, all the donor agencies here, in order to bring their own issues, bring their own problems, so that the NEMA are going to take care. Seriously, we are very, very happy with the NEMA, the way that we are collaborating, the way that we are working in hand. At the same time, they are forwarding all our problems when we detect and forward to them.
The National Emergency Management Agency is one of the 16 key stakeholders of the center. And as far as response agency is concerned, provision of response services to Nigerians, NEMA is the lead agency in that respect. We have been working and collaborating very, very closely with NEMA. We have had a series of interface both in respect of providing humanitarian services, especially in the northeastern part of Nigeria, where NEMA is actively involved with the internally displaced persons. We have also collaborated in the area of even the World Humanitarian Day, which was hosted by the National Emergency Management Agency. So we have a number of areas where we have collaborated.
The process created by the government, notwithstanding the fact we work with three principles, neutrality, independence and impartiality, but it is a creation of the government. Red Cross is an auxiliary to the government. But the government has an agency that manages or coordinates disaster responders, which is the National Emergency Management Agency. There will be no way a responder would come into the country or a local-based responder will work successfully without partnering with the National Emergency Management Agency. So by the existence or establishment of the National Emergency Management Agency, the Nigeria Red Cross finds it as a twin brother. So we partner in virtually almost everything.
NEMA has not relented in its humanitarian activities. It has successfully domesticated the global best practices of disaster risk reduction, which emphasizes disaster prediction, hazard analysis, resilient capacity building, and awareness creation. NEMA, however, solicits the support of all stakeholders to complement the federal government's efforts at providing assistance for the IDPs and other victims of emergencies. NEMA, for the sake of the distressed.